Hello everyone, this is Kotas Singh and today I will be making tutorials on Java Spring Boot. So to create a project of Java Spring Boot, we're going to come over here, startspring.io, and we're going to choose Maven project Java. We're going to choose 2.21 version of Spring Boot, and we're going to make com.codersync, and our artifact will be we're going to make YouTube to-do list, and we're gonna add some dependencies. So we're gonna add web. So web is to get the REST controllers like get map, get put, delete, and post. And then now we're gonna have a JPA. JPA is basically persistent data in SQL stores. JPA, I mean, it is basically a ORM which is used to communicate the Java classes with the database tables. And we're gonna have H2. It is an in-memory database, and we're gonna hit on generate. So we will get this zip folder, and so we're gonna I'll just cut it and paste it in my this particular place in my D drive, and I'm gonna extract all over here. Extract. So it's gonna take some time, 2-3 minutes, whatever. So we're gonna use IntelliJ. So if you guys have not downloaded IntelliJ, then you can search IntelliJ, and you can download the community version. I'm using the community version as well of it. So community version is completely free of cost, and so we're gonna go hit download. I have already downloaded it. It's basic setup. It's available for Linux, and everyone. So like Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. So you can download this one, and after you have downloaded it, you're gonna get this screen. After you get the screen, you have to go to open, and you're gonna locate to your path. So my path is in D drive. I have programming, I have YouTube, then I have Java Spring Boot, I have YouTube to-do list. Okay, I think so. YouTube to-do list. Let me just delete this one, and I'm gonna get I'm gonna get this thing, pom.xml. Oops, Java pom.xml. Open as project, and it's gonna resolve the dependencies. It's gonna download the dependencies of the Maven, and within like couple of minutes it's gonna start. And let me just close all these tabs, close all windows, close this window also, and make sure we have Postman, and that's it. So if you guys don't know what is Postman, just search Postman, and you download the app from the Google, from the Postman website. It's free too, and we're gonna start with creating a model first. So we have this our application over here. I'm gonna hide this one from Maven, and I'm gonna create a new package, a model package. So what is model? Model is basically it's same like a table in a database. So it's gonna hold all the entities and everything which if you guys are not coming from Java background, so I'm gonna create a class like to do item class. So it's gonna hold entire data of that particular to do item. So like private, I'm gonna say private long ID. So it has the ID. So private string title. So obviously it's gonna have a title, and private boolean done. So obviously it's gonna have a done status if it's done or not. So now we have created a to do item class. Now we will create a repo. So repo repository is basically it's gonna talk about it's gonna talk to a database. So repo, and we're gonna use the JPA repository. We're gonna extend the JPA repository. So before, let's create an interface over here. As a Java class, and but choose interface. So we're gonna say to do repo, which extends JPA repository. So over here we have to give what class we gonna extend. We're gonna extend to do rep to do item, and it's gonna have long as a ID. So I'll be coming back to my class to tell that repository that it's an entity. So we're gonna mark it as an entity, and we're gonna have the default constructors and setters and getters. So we're gonna do alt and insert. You're gonna get the constructor done. We're gonna have a empty constructor, select none, and again we're gonna have the setters and getters, setters, and here it is, and so long ID. So we're gonna annotate it by ID and then generated value. So ID gives that it's an ID, basically the primary key, and generated value is generated automatically. At the same time, I do not want my title to be blank, so we're gonna annotate it by using not blank. There's one more annotation called not null, but what is the difference between not null is that it should not be null, but it will accept the empty string. So we do not want that. So our basically our model class is ready. So the entity is completely ready, and now we're gonna create a controller. So we're gonna create a new package, and we're gonna say controller, and in the controller we're gonna have a class called to do controller, which will be annotated by the rest controller to do controller. So we're gonna annotate by rest controller, and at the same time we're gonna have request mapping. The request mapping, so what rest controller gives, the rest controller gives the power of making this particular class a rest endpoint, which means that we can have interaction with this class with get, patch, put, all those methods, HTTP methods which we can use. And request mapping is giving it basically slash to do. If we do slash to do, we can then access this class by going to the slash to do URL. So now I'm gonna use auto wire, and I'm gonna access private to do repo. So AutoWire is gonna automatically initialize this to do repo, so we don't have to worry about it. So public list to do item. If I wanna get all the to do item, find all. I'm gonna return to do repo find all. So all these functions, as you can see, if I do dot, all these functions are coming from the extend function which we have done over here. So JPA repository holds couple of functions which we are extending over here, but I have to give it a get mapping. So it is a get thing. If I'm gonna do get to do, so I should get all the all the to do items. Sorry, all the to do items. And now if I want to post it, so post mapping, and I'm gonna do public to do item. I'm gonna return, and I'm gonna say save, and over here. So in this I'm gonna have a request body, and it's gonna be of type to do item, and I'm gonna say to do repo dot save to do item, and it's gonna return the to do item which is saved. So if you remember in the to do item, we specified the not blank, the IDs, and so this is a validation. But if we want to uh, bind this validation with the controller in the controller, so we have to do @valid. So if you don't do @valid, the not blank annotation over here will not work. So make sure you do @valid, and we're gonna add one more annotation. We're gonna say not null. Like we should get some data, and the validation will take care of which data is mandatory and which is not. But we should get some data, so not null over here. So we have get mapping and post mapping. So let's start and see if this particular file is running or not. So if you're gonna go over here, this main file YouTube to do application, and you're gonna hit the play button, and it's gonna spin up your application, and then we can open our Postman. And as you can see in the Postman, we have to create a new request, and of get method localhost 8080, the Spring Boot will run on the port number 8080, and we have to hit this particular URL /todo. So let's send the request and see if we get anything back. I don't know if it has not started yet. It takes time because it initializes everything, the annotations and JPAs and the H2 server. So let's see now. So to do, I should get an empty array. So yeah, I got an empty array. So if I do post of to do, like I have do assignment, and I send it. So I get this particular unexpected character. Okay, sorry. Yeah, now I'm gonna do it. So I got it. So title do assignment false. If I do assignment 2, then I'm gonna get ID. If you can see, ID has changed to 2, and do assignment 2. And if I do get over here, so I'm gonna get a list of all the to do items which I have to do. So now we have created the to do item, but what if I'm done with the to do item? Now I have to change the to do item. So I'm gonna do put mapping. So put mapping is basically updating the data. So I'll say public to do item update, and again I have to copy the same thing. To update the data, we have to send all the data back to it. So I'm gonna say valid not null and request body to do item. The difference between the save and update is even in this one we're gonna use to do repo.save and to do item. The difference between these two is in this one I will be sending the ID with it, which this ID 1 or 2. If I'm sending the ID 1 or 2, it instead of adding the new data, it's gonna update the data. So if I grab this and I do copy, and I go to this request and I change the parameter to put over here, and I do this, and I do particular ID, and I do it like true, so and I make it true. So if I send it, I'm gonna get request method put not support. Okay, so we have to restart the server. I completely forgot to restart the server. So after restarting the server, we will be able to uh, basically update. So we do not have any method in JPA repository, which is given default by JPA repository, that we can update the data. So we just have to save it with the ID. So if you are passing the ID, then it's going to update it itself. So let's see it in action. So it has started, and I have to post some data again because it's in memory database. It's not like the real database. The to do assignment 2 I have got. Now I have to do put what is my body. So okay, I need to go to body and to check for visualization. Okay, I'll just send the request. Let me just see. Can't visualize the response. Pretty bad request. The title which I've been sending is blank. So put request. Wait, I'll just post. Okay, I'm so sorry. So input request over here. If I go up, I have to send the title as well. TITLE, some title, and if I do send, so it's gonna, okay, comma. If I do send now, so now my request will be updated. Some title and true. So if I do get, some title is true. Now if I do post, do assignment 3, so it's gonna just add up and make sense. Like it's gonna add up down there, and by default it's gonna be false. So what about delete now? So for delete mapping, we're gonna set a value. So in value, in the sense, again we have to pass some other parameter in the URL to delete this particular thing. So public, we're gonna say actually void delete, and over here we're gonna say path variable, which gonna be long id, and now over here we're gonna say to do repo delete by id. If now if I'm gonna read on it, and again if I in the delete method and I pass to do /1, so it's going to delete that particular item with the id 1, or if I'm going to do 2, it's going to delete the particular item with id 2. So let's see. So I'm going to post the content first to do assignment 1, and I'm going to send it. And we're gonna set to assignment 2, and we're gonna see all the data now over here. So now if I want to delete the second one, I'm gonna go to delete option. I'm gonna make a request type delete, and I'm gonna do to do 2, and it's gonna be deleted. As you can see, we got the status 200. Okay, and I do get request again, so I have it over here. So this much for this tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and I hope you really enjoyed the tutorial. And if there any other tutorial you want me to make on Java Spring Boot, then do let me know in the comments section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the tutorial. Stay tuned, and